Welcome everyone. As they say, my name's SpenceSpeedruns. Welcome to the best Devil May Cry game ever made. Now, before you start, that is rage bait. I'm going to say that right here. But in my defense, without Devil May Cry 2, we would never have got Devil May Cry 3, 4, or 5. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so the best way to describe this run is a high risk, high reward. Now, what that means is the best optimal way of playing this game is to be near death throughout the entire run. Make whatever jokes about that as you will. So, without further ado, there's a lot to go over through here. So I'm going to say 3, 2, 1 with a countdown. We'll jump straight into it. So in 3, 2, 1, Devil May Cry. All right, so we are playing the Dante disc. Thank you. For those who might not know, this game actually came with 2 discs. There was the Dante disc and the Lucia disc. Lucia we're not going to touch. We'll probably never even see in the run because obviously we're going to skip cutscenes. We're going to do our best Limp Bizkit impression. Now what I mean by that is that we're going to keep on rolling, 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 baby. Now, that is because rolling is our fastest form of movement. So every so often you'll see me change direction like this. We get our first combat encounter with one of the better battle themes. Now you'll see I've just fired a shot there at the enemy. Now what that's going to do is it's going to give me an E rank on our style meter. Again, Devil May Cry 2 was the first to introduce the style meter in the way we know as it is now. Going to do the same again there. 2 E ranks in a row. And what that's going to hopefully help me do is set up for something called orb manipulation. Now, by getting 2 E ranks, 2 D ranks, and then 2 A ranks in combat scenarios, the next combat scenario we jump into will give me 10 times the amount of red orbs through the fight. Now, it is really tricky to do, and I'll be honest, I've never got it in a run on this mission before. So we're going to see. We want 2 Ds and 2 As. There's one. Now you have to let that go away. 2 Ds. Of course, the geometry gets in the way. There's the first A. Now, I need to make sure I don't lose this D, so I can get that up to an A as well. And I was just about to say, and not get hit. But unfortunately, this game loves to do that at the most inopportune times. That is the first time I've ever got the correct rank in order, to be honest with you. So that was as close as we're going to get for this one, but we get another opportunity to do it later on. Now we're going to obviously go for an S rank here on our next combat encounter. We've got a load of these little like imp kind of enemies. And we can kind of keep the S rank, hopefully, all the way through. But they obviously like to hide behind the geometry there as well sometimes, which can lead to me losing the S rank. But having that S rank is going to net me the most amount of orbs here. Now, if we had got the orb manipulation, we would be looking at probably getting around 5,000 to 6,000 orbs just on this one combat encounter. But we are just going to go probably about 2,000 instead. Where are you going, bro? Okay, this was a bit of a bad combat, but it happens.
Yes, unfortunately, but just get through it.
I'm going to have to wait for this one to die so I can get his orbs, because we're going to need at least 5,000 going into mission 3. Grab the key there. For some reason, just drops out of the sky. You know, classic 2002 PS2 game logic. Makes sense in concept. And now we're just going to carry on our Limp Bizkit tribute act all the way to the end of this mission. Now, funnily enough, DMC2 is actually the shortest Devil May Cry in terms of missions. DMC1 has 23, DMC2 has 18, DMC3 onwards has 20. We're got the A rank there, which nets us a couple thousand extra orbs. If we had got that orb manipulation, I would have got an S rank there, which gives us 5,000 extra orbs there. So it's not a massive blow to the run. It's just nice to have for this mission. And this one is pretty much just like a nice little puzzle mission here. Not too many combat encounters, I think there's only 2. But again, this game does reward exploration, so these little rooms here, there's usually like blue orb fragments in there that when you get 4, they increase your health. Or there could be some like red orb caches as well. We obviously know which way we want to be going, so we're going to be just taking the optimal route throughout this.
Yeah, and I'm assuming we don't need the extra health anyway. We know what we're doing.
Exactly. And actually, in this run, like I said, we want to be near death a lot of the time. So having the least amount of health is obviously going to make that quicker. Now, nice little puzzle here. We want to hit 8 of these little balls. And the formations are RNG, so I'm going to be praying right now. Give me a good one. Thank you. There's 7 and 8. Now that can give me really bad RNG, and they can be at all 4 corners of that little section there. Just means we have to kind of jump over it, and we'll get a 3 cycle rather than a 2 cycle, which I just got there. Another thing to note is Devil May Cry 2 was the first where you could intentionally disable your lock-on. Now, in Devil May Cry 1 and 2, you have an automatic lock-on system, so whenever you get close, the closest enemy to you, Dante will automatically lock onto them. But by holding the R2 button, you can disable that lock-on. Because otherwise, what Dante will be trying to do there while we're hitting that switch is he'll try to target the flying bat enemies that are knocking around as well. And you'll know I'm disabling the lock-on because we won't get a health bar in the bottom left. Like so. We're gonna utilize that lock-on disablement to hit the switch. Hopefully before I get a nice little slap in the face, thank you. Playing nice today, we love to see it. And we're going to go to our one and only force combat encounter in this mission. We're also going to get something called the Aerial Heart. Again, DMC2 staple is the amulet in the top left. I'll explain a bit more in a minute. And these little glowing kind of like fountains in the corner will refill my devil trigger in the top left, as you can see. So by taking out all those pyromancers, now we're going to get into the actual fight here. It's kind of like a little mini boss, these 2 goat enemies. Unfortunately, I just lost a little bit. Didn't have too much devil trigger there to finish it off, but it's fine. The guns in this game are powerful. Not as powerful as they are in Devil May Cry 1, though, despite popular belief. Now, having the Aerial Heart in our amulet means we can now fly. I'm just going to, because I didn't get the orb manipulation in Mission 1, we're going to go for a little back up here and get 2,000 orbs in the corners. And that leaves us with 9,000. Now, we're going to upgrade our Rebellion, which is the sword that we've got equipped at this time. And that's going to come into play in this mission. Now, in terms of buying items and buying moves and things like that, Devil May Cry 2 actually starts you with all of the moves you absolutely need from the get-go. You have the double jump, you have the stinger move, etc. What you actually do is you just upgrade the damage of your weapons, either your swords or guns. And that directly links into the technique I'm going to show off in a minute. So, but first, I'm going to have to get slapped.
So this is where we get close to death, I see.
One more? Okay, never mind. We can sort it out. Now, when I go into red HP, which you'll see just in a moment when I get into this boss fight, I'm going to show off something we call the Margin form. Or I'm going to die.
Oh. Oh dear.
This is why we say high risk, high reward. I could show off Margin, but instead we're going to go for the backup, which is the round trip. This boss has actually been giving me a lot of trouble recently, and he doesn't normally. There we go. The Margin form is Devil May Cry 2 exclusive, and if you've played Devil May Cry 5, you might realize it's kind of similar to the Sin Devil trigger that we unlock through the story that way. It's basically like an emergency Devil trigger. If we pop it, we're essentially invincible for that duration, and it only lasts as long as our Devil trigger is actually active. But in order to do that, we need to be in red HP, which is roughly about 10%, which is why we don't go for any blue orbs, we don't raise our health any higher than it already is, because we know the damage values of a lot of the attacks that we're going to take, and therefore we can use that to set up Margin form pretty much on nearly every boss that we want. And we're going to be doing the same thing again on this mission's boss. I think nearly every mission in DMC2 has a boss at the end of it, which I'm not quite sure why. We just kind of roll with it, pun intended. Now, normally in a casual playthrough, what you would do here is there's another combat encounter past this switch, which you would go in and that would give you the Quick Heart. Now, the Quick Heart would make you run twice as fast in Devil Trigger. Spoiler alert, you don't need it. Rolling is as fast as the Quick Heart when it comes essentially to this point. We're going to roll all the way to the end, roll through the gate, and there we go. And that brings us to the Mission 4 boss, which is a pain. But same thing as applies here, we're going to take damage intentionally to get into that red HP. And by taking damage, we also build DT. So we should always have enough DT. I'm going to slash a few times just to make sure I stay on this platform. I'm going to shut up. Okay. Okay, unfortunate, but we'll do this instead. Okay,
Whoa,
there we go.
That was a massive amount of damage there.
Yeah, Margin form is completely overpowered, and with good reason too, because you essentially have to be nearly dead to be able to use it. It's almost like a get out of jail free. It gives you those last few seconds, or about 10-15 seconds, to basically get your bearings. You're completely invincible during that time, but because we know how to basically abuse it in this run, we're going to take every opportunity we can for that. Mission 5 is everybody's favorite, with the best boss in the game, which is the Infected Chopper. I'm sure I'm triggering a lot of PTSD with that. I also got the shotgun in that last mission at the end, which is going to come into play. We're going to be only using the pistols and the shotgun. I also bought a purple orb. Now a purple orb increases our DT, but it also refills DT when we buy it. So if you ever see me buying a purple orb, it's because we want full DT going into the start of this mission. Now these wolves here are very RNG based. They like to jump around a lot. If they stay still, you can hit them with a couple of stingers. That's why we get the Devil Trigger at the start. And we can stun lock them and basically tell them they're not allowed to play the game. Now by utilizing the shotgun, it has a really high knockback value. So when we come up to the fight with these goats here, we're going to blast them in the face. That knocks them down. Get rid of these flying enemies because they're a pain. Okay, that's good. That was a really good combat encounter, actually. It will make up for the monkey fight we had earlier. Now, because, again, a lot of things in Devil May Cry 2 went on to be more popularized and more polished in the other games, you can see that I can actually switch weapons on the fly. That was actually made in this game. And we're going to utilize that to do something called switch cancelling. So that makes me be able to fire the shotgun even faster than it would be normally. And little mini boss here. We're going to fight 3 tanks because 2001, I don't know. They have a little weak spot with this eye here. And I jump, please, Dante. Okay, never mind. I'm getting absolutely destroyed. There we go. Now that's how it should go. The electro heart that we have does double hits, so it hits it once, and then the electric hits it again, which is why we go for the helm break there. Because we are actually hitting that weak spot twice in a row with that. Once more will do it, there we go. And now I'm going to set up for margin again. Now we don't actually jump into the boss fight straight away, but we're going to use it for traversal first, and then we're going to get it again. So I'm hoping I can hit the weak spot here on the eye. They're really bit finicky to find. There we go. I need to keep a close eye on my health as well. I knew it. I was trying to jump out of the way and it did not work. Thankfully, the checkpoint's right outside.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. We've just had another anonymous donation of £15, by the way. Thank you very much.
So much for the donations. As we've been saying all event, it is for a wonderful cause. Okay, yeah, you don't want to be backflipping. Let's put it that way. Backflipping slower than normal walking for some reason. The plus side of dying there is that I restart with full Devil Trigger. So we can use that to our advantage here. Right, let's try this again, shall we? Let's set up for the margin, and then we can move on from the worst enemy design, probably in the entire series. There we go.
I was worried you might not get it there.
It is very tricky to get. This is, like I say, it's a high risk, high reward. I'm going to jump as far as I can up there, and we're going to margin. Now, margin is the fastest form of movement, none, and that includes flying. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and through the door. Now, I'm hoping to get 5 fireballs off here, and that will skip a little bit of a running cutscene that we have to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That'll do. Thank you. Now again, I'm already at low health, so we don't need much to actually get into the margin form for the actual fight. I'm going to try and bait these 2 flying enemies to hit me a little bit. And again, this is pure RNG. So this could go.
We could be here a while.
That will do.
No.
That will do. We'll take that. But now I just need to not die. Alternative, this is a higher risk strategy. There is a green orb there. What we can do is grab that green orb, that gives us back full HP. And then we can set it up for on the actual boss fight itself. I'm going to grab this gold orb here as a backup.
But we don't want full health, do we?
We do not.
Ah.
So I'm hopefully going to be able to set this up correctly. This is a new strategy that the guys have been working on. Shout out to Loner Hero. Absolute G when it comes to these strategies. So I'm hoping we're going to use a Devil Star here to get our Devil Trigger back. Now, I'm going to pray that this goes well. There we go. Perfect chopper fight. Let's go. That
Brilliant.
chopper has a weak point eye like the infected tanks do, and by being higher than that eye hitbox and utilizing the margin form, we actually do 1.5 times damage. If you were on level with it or below it, it wouldn't kill, but we have a backup for that as well, just in case. This is a great mission. This is mission 6, and it's just one big boss fight. It's probably the best boss fight in the game, other than the last one. Got to fight a building. By utilizing switch cancels, we can do some damage here. Take 3 lasers to the face. Now that won't put us in red HP, but it'll put us close enough. And then we're going to take another one in Devil Trigger, so I don't take as much damage. Hit him with the round trip twice to the face. That'll put him in phase 2. 2, 3. One, 2, 3. Margin. 1 fireball. Takes us to phase 3. Now I'm going to try and hit his weak spot on the back of his head. Fingers crossed. I didn't get the weak spot, but I'm going to hit with a Doomsday, which is a margin-only move. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to do this kind of, not casually, but I might be able to set up margin again. As long as I don't get hit with... Those lasers are stupid powerful. I don't actually need the margin, but just to be on the safe side, I'll hit him with it. Now that move you saw me do there, the big shockwave, was called Doomsday. Doomsday and Leviathan are 2 margin-only moves. The game will never tell you that those moves are in the directory. We've had to figure that out on our own. I think it was found in a Devil May Cry 2 strategy guide, if you can remember what they are.
Oh, I remember my dad has some of those kicking around for Zelda.
Honestly, it was a plethora of knowledge, and I feel like that's probably the reason why this game gets such a bad rap. It's because I can't jump on a pipe. That's probably why. Excuse me a second. Okay, there we go. The thing, I feel like the game gets a really bad rap because it doesn't tell you anything with the game. It expects you to have played Devil May Cry 1 so you know what gun and shoot are, but then it doesn't tell you what you can do. It doesn't tell you all your combos, what you can do. Correct me if I'm wrong, it might be in the manual, but there's a lot of stuff like the margin form's not in the manual. The margin form moves and moveset aren't in the manual either. It doesn't tell you that upgrading your guns and your swords actually feed into the margin form, that kind of thing. So I feel like that's probably why this game got such a bad rap. Don't get me wrong, it's not a perfect game. It's not a perfect game in the slightest, but I have a very big soft spot for it. It was the first Devil May Cry game I ever played. I remember I semi-bought a PS2 off my brother-in-law, and he had Devil May Cry 2, but not 1, for whatever reason. And so yeah, Devil May Cry 2 was the first game I ever played in the series.
I mean, I suppose if you play the worst game to begin with, it's only up from there, isn't it?
Exactly. And that's not to say that Devil May Cry 2 doesn't have its strong suits. It does definitely have some really good ideas. Because if it hadn't, then we wouldn't have got it polished and perfected in other games. There we go. So we're grabbing our Vendetta. Now I jumped on that lift, that little elevator there. Now that actually goes down whether we're in the room or not. So instead of just waiting for it to go down, we're going to go grab some items whilst we got the chance. I picked up the Vendetta there. Vendetta is a shorter sword than Rebellion, but it does double damage. The swords in this game don't have any movesets like they would do in Devil May Cry 1 or 3. All the swords are the exact same moveset, which is a bit of a shame, but each one has its own quirks. The other one is Merciless, which is a longer sword, but it's less powerful. Rebellion is like your all-rounder, and Vendetta is your damage dealer. And we just got the Flame Heart there as well. The Flame Heart does additional damage on top of what we already have. There's also something called the Flame Heart glitch, which might come into play later, where if we utilize a round trip with Flame Heart equipped, it hits everything in the room. Now I'm setting up for orb manipulation again. I've got my 2 E's, we're gonna go for 2 D's, 2 A's, and then hopefully keep the S rank, and that'll net me a lot of orbs. There's 1 D, let that go away. 2 Ds. One A. Two A's. Right, if I can get this S rank here. There we go, got the S rank, so I'm going to get a lot of orbs. You see that in the corner there? Through 1 enemy, I got 4,000 orbs. So I've probably got about 20,000 orbs from this one fight alone. And then we're just gonna have to just sit and aura farm for 20 seconds.
Oh, yeah, that's impressive.
Can we just appreciate Dante's outfit in 2 as well, by the way? I feel like a lot of people say that his outfit in 2 is probably his best out of the entire series. And it's a shame they didn't bring it back as DLC or an alternate skin in maybe 5 or something like that, just as a little Easter egg.
That coat is immaculate. I need to get some inspiration, I think.
There we go. So we're back on the old elevator. And I'm going to try and kind of skip. There is an invisible wall at the top of this, which stops us from jumping all the way up, or even flying all the way up, but we can jump. So by utilizing guns, we kind of get a bit of extra height, and by jumping off the wall, we get extra height that way as well. So I feel like once I get to about here, there we go, and then I can just fly over to the exit. Next mission, relatively, see there, I got 12,000 orbs, and I probably would only get about 2 if I hadn't get the orb manipulation there. I'm going to increase Vendetta, and I'm going to get a purple orb for Devil Trigger. I'm going to skip the cutscene, and we're going to roll straight into it, equip Vendetta. And we're going to use something called the Million Stab. Now, by deactivating Devil Trigger just before it hits, you will still get that Devil Trigger damage, but it won't actually use your bar. So you can basically keep infinite Devil Trigger doing this. It'll go down, but it won't go down as much as it would do normally. And we got an S rank on that combat encounter, so that should give me an S rank on the mission. It did, we'll take that, a double S rank all the way through. Very easy mission once you know what you're doing, and we can stun lock him using the Million Stab. We have the classic Capcom escape. If you've ever played a Resident Evil game or any Capcom game, we're now having to get out of a burning building. And it gives us 12 minutes to do so. We're only going to need about 2.
Oh yes, I remember watching a similar sequence with, I think it was Resident Evil Code Veronica last year.
That was correct. And I think that was me.
I'm sensing a pattern.
See what kind of games I go for, can't you? We grab the offense heart. Now, every time you get a heart for your amulet, your Devil Trigger refills. So that's why we don't get it in the last mission, we get it at this one. Because therefore, it gives us full Devil Trigger, and we can use that for the entirety of this mission. So we can fly up here without having to do any platforming. We're going to do the same thing in the middle column where we got the Flame Heart from earlier. I'm going to fly all the way to the top here. Get through this door. Have a little cutscene, and if you hold up like you think you would be doing, actually to move upwards, Dante actually goes back through the door. It's weird. We don't know why. There's 3 lights we got to hit here, which can be a bit finicky because I'm cancelling my lock on because there's also 2 flying enemies knocking around. There they are. We want to basically hit them with the Hell Break if we can. Just saves a little bit of extra time. Hitting those three opens this door, or shutter, should we say. DT fly to the end here, again, fastest way of getting across without having to platform. And we're going to get pushed back by the plane rotors for some reason. So we're just going to use Devil Trigger, which gives us a bit faster movement, and roll in. Once we get inside the plane, it's going to crash through into that fan so we can get back out of the actual building. And yes, there we go. The game gives us 12 minutes to get out, and we got out in a minute and a half. You're going to see a pattern with a lot of these next extra couple of missions is it's going to be boss fight after boss fight after boss fight. This is probably one of the more annoying ones. This is, I can't say the natural name of the boss. We just call it the moth. And it's a giant moth. So if anyone does have phobias of moths, please do look away now. It is massive.
On the other hand, for people who do absolutely love moths, well, you're in luck. In fact, I believe I can see such a person right now.
4, 5, 6. One thing I didn't actually explain earlier is how combos work in DMC2. So the first 4 hits of a combo is always going to be the same if you just press the button. If you move the analog stick to the left or the right after the first hit or the second hit, that's when you do different types of combos. So moving the stick now gives you the 6-hit combo. Doing it after the first one gives you a 3-hit. That's nice. Now I'm going to set up for Margin again. I'm going to get swallowed. And you can't break out of here without wiggling everything. So if we leave it and don't wiggle or press any buttons, we will consistently take damage. Taking damage gives us Devil Trigger. We burst out. We go into Margin. Now I'm going to use the Leviathan laser here. Like so. I'm hopefully going to kill one of the lavas as well as the boss. Now the lavas are going to keep coming out of the floor. I'm going to use the Vital Star here because funnily enough, the easiest way to kill these guys is by doing what we did before, just a lot quicker than we did earlier. By getting eaten, we can burst out and then we don't actually have to fight these and let them play the game. One more should do it. Oh no, there's 2 more. That's unfortunate. Another nuance of the HD collection is the lava that the boss actually drops. You can't kill. In the PS2 version, you can kill them when he drops the little like eggs, if you want to call it. You can't actually do that in the HD collection, unfortunately. So that's going to bring us to the end of this mission. And even though we took all that damage, still came out of it with an A rank. Number 11, we're going to go again. We're going to get the purple, and we're going to buy a small Devil Star for the next mission after this. You want to really kind of consolidate all of your shopping into the same mission or like as least amount as possible. So if you know that you're going to need, say, a Vital Star at one point, buy a Devil Star as well because you know you've got it for the next mission after. So I bought the purple orb for this mission, so we've got full Devil Trigger. And then I bought the Devil Star for the mission afterwards, so I didn't have to basically go in and buy another one again on mission 12. Yet again, another light switch. The game loves these. I think in every single mission bar, maybe the boss missions, there's at least a light switch puzzle knocking around somewhere. This is a little bit of a kind of like nice movement mission until the boss. So if there is any kind of donations or any announcements you guys want to make, this is probably a perfect time.
I don't believe there's anything here. But I mean, I guess people can take the invitation.
So, as the game shows, we've got to take out that wall. So by utilizing the million stab trick from earlier, by deactivating the DT, we still get the million stab, but we don't lose the DT. And then little platforming puzzle, which we don't need because we can fly. I feel like the flying was probably for like a New Game Plus kind of thing, and they didn't expect us to find this for a fresh playthrough. But here we are. Okay, Bolverk. Bolverk is a really finicky boss. I'm going to kind of focus for a second. Okay, that's good. Keep him in the corner. There we go. So, the round trip in this game, the first hit of the round trip is completely broken. We don't know why, it just kind of is. So we obviously take full advantage of that. By pushing him into the corner, we can stun lock him with the first hit of the round trip. And by just cancelling out of that and doing the first hit over and over again, it just takes a massive chunk out of his health bar. Normally it would kill, but unfortunately sometimes he can run away like he did there. And then you just finish him off with a couple of well-placed stingers. Best puzzle in the game. Hit 8 pyramids in the sky.
8 moving pyramids at that.
There was a tournament last year. Was it last year? It could be the year before. I could be completely getting my dates mixed up. From Waifu Runs. Shout out to Waifu, good mate of mine. And he put it to all of us speedrunners and casual players alike on, can we find new techniques for this game? I'll finish that sentence in a minute, I promise. Okay, yeah. So he put it to us, can we find new techniques to the game by picking one mission and getting us to get basically the fastest time overall in that certain mission. And the kind of techniques that people found for this mission alone were hysterical. You know, jumping up and kick cancelling, cancelling into and out of Devil Trigger, hitting the round trip and doing all sorts of stuff like that. It was crazy. 13 is literally just a boss mission. We're going to be fighting the big bad, Arius. Who looks a lot like Heihachi. There we go. We can stun lock him and make sure he can't play the game.
Yeah, that was a very fast mission.
That mission can be as fast as 8 seconds if we utilize the round trip, but it's very finicky to get.
Wow.
I'm going to buy a small Devil Star again there. I probably should have bought a big one, but...
So am I right in thinking we have 5 more missions to go?
That is correct. So I should have really equipped my amulet here. I'm going to swap back to the Electro Heart just for this boss on this mission. I'm going to utilize something called kick cancelling here in a second. So if you hold R1, your lock on when you're in the air, Dante will do like a free kick combo. By holding the shoot button as well, you can cancel out the animation. And kind of keep doing those kicks over and over again. Otherwise, you would have to helm break, and it will take forever.
Yeah, it looks like that'll take quite a while, casually.
Which is also why we buy the Devil Star as well, because the round trip is going to do at least 2 of these light switches as well. And it's just a lot faster to be able to do it with the round trip than doing it normally, especially because we're going to get attacked by enemies at the same time. So the next one's in here. We're going to get a wave of enemies, but again, we're going to make them not play the game by running up this wall. At a certain spot, we'll despawn everything. And they're just gone.
That makes sense. By the way, we've got another £10 donation. Anonymous £10 donation. Thank you very much. We're now on £2,836 and 67 pence.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, we've got 2 light switches. There is 4. third one's coming up at the end of this little street, if you want to call it. There we go. So 2 round trips and a little love tap at the end there. That should do it. And we're going to go get the 4th and final one. And then that takes us directly into the boss fight. The boss fight on this mission is Phantom from Devil May Cry 1. He just appears. It's meant to be some sort of like, it's feeding off Dante's memories. Now we're in the demon world, that kind of thing. But otherwise, there is seemingly no explanation as to why Phantom's here other than that. Get this lined up straight. There we go. So by hitting it with the Hellbreaker there, it just makes sure that I'm in the right spot. So when I jump back up again and Devil Trigger fly, I know that I'm in the right spot to hit the round trip. So we're going to try and stun lock Phantom again by hitting him with a cheeky little 4-piece. Great thing about the Devil Trigger in this game is it does give you super armor. So if you see me activate it at the last second before I get hit, it's because I know I'm about to get hit. And so it doesn't actually, I don't get a knockback from Phantom's attacks, which I would have done there had I not killed him. Mission 15, we have 3 left. 15 is a wave mission. We're going to hit this eye in the middle, and we're going to have to go through 4 waves of enemies. Now, in certain versions of the HD collection, the eyes you see around the arena there in the back, there is one that's got a small hitbox that we can jump through, actually go under the floor and go to the exit that way. Unfortunately, in the PC version, this was patched. So it's there in the original PS2 version, it's there in the other HD collection that's on PS3. So what we have to do instead is we're going to intentionally take damage, get into that red HP, beautiful. This is also why I bought the gold orb, just in case. Because we have to set up the red HP as well as get enough Devil Trigger to go into margin. It can be really finicky, so instead we're going to take care of this wave with our normal Devil Trigger. Also, the best battle theme in the game, Shoot the Works, funnily enough, has a little Easter egg in Devil May Cry 3. When you get the Nevan electric guitar weapon from mission, I can't remember what mission it is. The guitar riff that Dante plays is actually the Shoot the Works riff from Devil May Cry 2. This one's going to be hidden behind geometry. I did not think that was going to happen. Okay, fine. We're going to try it again. We're going to try it again. Luckily, we've not used any items. If you use an item on a mission, you will lose it. But now that I have died, I now have full Devil Trigger, so I can go into red HP, into margin, without having to build it again. So we should be able to clear the waves a lot easier this time around. This is a really risky and a really stressful mission. So one more will do it. Okay, so we're at a B rank here, and that's because when I'm at the B rank, I want to get a white orb. So Doomsday should have taken care of the rest of the wave. Sounds like it did. Unfortunately, I didn't get the white orb drop, which would make it easier for me to play this one. But again, we've got backups on backups for this. round trip there. I got no white orbs at all. That's unfortunate. Now, ideally, we wanted to set margin up again for this final wave. Because I'm already at very low HP as it is, I don't want to risk it. So instead, we're going to pull out the trusty round trip there. And there's the white orb right at the end, because we love to see it. Thank you. I'm going to pick that up just for the memes. See you in a bit. Unfortunately.
So is that completely no benefits having a white orb? Is it just a collectible?
The white orb gives us Devil Trigger back. So by using the margin in the first wave and then normal Devil Trigger in the second, we can easily more set up for margin for the third wave and then the fourth. We could basically stay in either Devil Trigger or margin for the entirety of the mission. Just makes it a lot easier to deal with the bigger waves with the goats. Very, very tricky mission, this one. We're going to actually set margin up twice on this mission. In the exact same way, we're going to go through 2 elevators. I'm just going to wait for these orbs here as well, just to have a bit more currency. But by going in this elevator, we're going to get attacked by 6 of them. I'm just going to stand in. Now once my health gets about there, Devil Trigger just to make sure I don't take too much damage. Come on. I'm going to use the twosome time, which I feel like is really cool. By disabling the lock-on and facing the other way, holding lock-on, you can kind of do the secondary pistol move there, and that knockback is hysterical. So it just makes sure that it keeps everything away from us.
Yeah, that is quite funny.
I love that strategy, not going to lie.
The don't bother me stance.
Literally. Just aura farming the entire way through.
Yeah.
It's great. But the reason for that is that if we kill those enemies because we're in red HP, the game thinks, oh, you're in red HP, you need a green orb or you're going to die. So by doing that, we make sure we don't get a green orb and we don't get attacked too often. So that keeps us in the red HP, keeps us with the right Devil Trigger, and then we can just get to the end of the elevator and keep it, because we want to keep that for the first of 2 bosses that we've got coming up in a minute, which is Bulwark Round 2. So by using that item on the door, we're going to make this building go into the Shadow Realm, if you will, which then changes.
Didn't see we're moving into Yu-Gi-Oh now.
Gonna just keep on rolling, baby, all the way through. And here we go. Lovely bit of decor. Bulwark Round 2. We're going to go into the margin straight away. Hopefully he doesn't do exactly that. This should kill. Thank God for that. Right, so the Leviathan and the Doomsday margin-only form moves will use all of your Devil Trigger. So if you're doing a run like so, and you're not sure if you can kill the boss with the rest of the Devil Trigger you've got left, as long as you've got a sliver of DT, you can activate either Doomsday or Leviathan. Leviathan's the better option because it does continuous damage, whereas Doomsday does just 1 shockwave damage. Leviathan will do damage over time. The more Devil Trigger you have, the higher damage it will do. But as you saw there, I got a good few combos off without him having to teleport away too much. So the Leviathan was more than enough to kill the boss. It's just a massive safety measure just to make sure that we do enough damage to make sure we get past that section. There we go. So the goat will do too much damage, whereas these guys, we know what kind of damage values they will do, so I can use that to set up the margin again. We're gonna just cheekily aura farm right there. Again, I love the strategy so much. I think it's great. Don't get that green orb. Whatever you do, don't get that green orb, because you will then not have enough health to do this boss.
No, this is not beginner's guide.
This Magia has 3 heads, only one is vulnerable. So we're going to shoot, find the one that is. Go into margin, fireballs. And once I get to that second bar in my Devil Trigger, hit the Leviathan again. That's going to do enough damage to the boss. This is the only boss that also has a desperation attack. Kingdom Hearts, eat your heart out. But this boss is actually dead, but if I don't dodge this, I would be. So you just do a little roll there and a little walk back, and that's the end of that mission. Very, very risky mission, very cool when it goes off without a hitch. 17, second to last mission. It's round 2 with Arius. Gonna buy a large Devil Star here, and we're going to use it straight away. And I'm going to put the Flame Heart back on my amulet. Because the Flame Heart with the offense heart that we got earlier is going to do more damage to Arius, I assume, because he's a human. There is 3 different strats we can do with this. The easiest and most consistent is Devil Trigger Stingers. If you hit him with certain combos, he will teleport away. So by doing this, we make sure he stays in one place 9 times out of 10. Couple more should do it. There we go. I'm going to let this play. This is the best cutscene in the entire game.
My dream, my life. I was going to be the king of this world.
King? Yeah. Here's your crown.
That's where all of the budget for this game went, on that cutscene alone. Final mission, we've got a full-on boss rush with all the bosses we fought before. I do have enough for what I need. Okay, cool. We're going to set up margin straight away.
All right, good luck.
By taking 3 lasers to the face. Bad RNG, but we'll deal with that. There's 2. One more, please. Perfect, thank you. Okay. Get right up in his face. Hit with the Lunar Phase. And a combo. 3, 4, 5. Now by using the Devil Star whilst in margin, we can stay in margin. Like so. Now. I'm hoping this will kill. It does. We will take that straight away. Phase 2 upcoming. Okay. There are green orbs around the edge of the arena. I'm going to grab one just to have a little bit more health for the Despairing Body. Time will end as soon as I land the final hit. I'm going to try and set margin up again. Like so. Please don't die, Dante. Time.
All right, there we are. 54.38.
I'll take it.
Oh my, oh, okay, we've just had a massive donation come in. All right, give me a second to refresh my Tiltify because I keep forgetting to enable live updates. We've just had £200 from Sleepless. Congrats on setting a new record, folks. As someone serving a long-time Birmingham sentence, I feel sorry for the poor sod you're sending over. Good luck. All right, I'll give you an update. They seem to be doing fine. In fact, I think they might have escaped, so I'm not sure what to do.
Jackpot, baby.
But yeah, that means we have now surpassed £3,000 for the first time at WASD. Thank you so much, everybody. Oh, this marathon truly is a dream come true. Thank you all so much. And thank you again, Spence, for once again coming along.
No worries at all. Appreciate you having me. Well, that was Devil May Cry 2. I hope people can find this run and give it a little bit more time of day. Don't get me wrong, if you have the choice, play the other games, I'm not going to lie to you. But I feel like 2 gets a really bad rap. Just play it. Just play it for yourself. Don't let people tell you to skip it, not bother with it, whatever. Just play it yourself and make your own decision with it, because I see a lot of discourse over DMC2 and I feel like it gets too bad a rap. Again, I have a soft spot for it, nostalgia and all that kind of stuff. So if you're interested in the speedrun as well, DMC Speedruns, the Discord's always open. I wouldn't be running games like this if it wasn't for DeCosmic, Loner Hero, Waifu, Maxi, Slickford, all them guys in the Discord as well, so shout outs to them. Do great tutorials in learning these runs. And yeah, it's been sick to come back. Always a pleasure to show off some of my favorite games, and I hope people enjoyed it as well. But yeah, we're on to the next one. Take care, guys. Oh, and if you want to see more of me, at SpenceSpeedruns on Twitch and YouTube, I do a lot of challenge runs as well. Think Devil May Cry 1, hardest difficulty, no upgrades. That's me. Why? Don't ask. But here we are. So we're going to move on to the next one. I'll let the guys get back on schedule. And yeah, until the next time. See you again.